Alright, I wanted to, I'm having a lot of requests from people that want to carve miniatures. And they say the body is not a problem for them, but the head is a big problem for them, or the face. And they're really struggling with the face and stuff. And I'm going to try to carve a quick face as easy as I possibly can to help you learn. Now I'm going to extend this face a little bit, but I got a little piece of scrap wood here. It's 3/4 by 3/4. Well, almost. It's not quite that on, but. And we're going to just draw a line across here. And I'm going to try to make one just as easy as can be to you. Now, one of the things I want to tell you about is if you're going to do miniatures, if you're going to do small figures, you're going to have to do, maybe I went down a little bit too far. Maybe the face is this, there we go, something like this, I'm sorry. That's a very small head. You're going to have to use a small knife, okay? Don't use a 2-inch knife to carve miniatures with. It just doesn't work, and I think a lot of people are running into that problem in such a way. So let's first of all, we want to establish where our head is. So we're going to just take that down. See this little knife I'm using? It's about a 1-inch blade. That's what it is. And I made it myself. So we're just going to outline this thing a little bit. Just outline it. We're not going to carve a body here. We're just going to carve the head to give you a general idea. Now let's come a little bit deeper on this head. Now, you can use one of these small knives, and then you can also use a knife like this. I believe this is a Helvy knife, and see the blade is not a whole lot longer than that one. So you can also use that type of knife. So I'm going to use that type of knife also to show you, where the handle is much longer. Probably going to feel a lot more comfortable in your hand than that small handle that I have there. I really made that knife for strong detail. Alright, the first thing you want to do is you want to take, and on all ends you want to just chop off. See that? Just chop that off like that. And continuing going around the figure, trying to round that head up there. See, our face is really, it's much like an egg. They really are. And so now we've kind of rounded that a little bit. So since it's like an egg, we also want to come down here and we want to take off this right here. And you see the shape? I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit more underneath here. You just don't want to use a long blade. I'm talking about a 2-inch blade. Or you can use a 1.5. 1 3/4 is a little bit big for miniature work. Okay. I'll come back here and just take some of this off. All right, we want to just sort of get all the sides kind of in our realm of what we want. See that? Okay. All right, I'm going to take a little bit more off underneath here so I'll have plenty of room for the face itself. Okay. Now, what you do is you come from both sides at the front here, and you make a cut here, and you make a cut here. And you come over here, and you make another cut here, and you make another cut here. And what we're doing is we're working towards the center, shaping that face so that we can get where our nose is. Okay? Another cut here. Another cut here. All right? And then you kind of bring it not quite to a point, but almost to a point. There we go, just like that. Now we take our and we find our nose, which is going to be somewhere about right in here. Okay? Now I'm doing some carvings right now. They're a little different than flat plane carving that I do. They're actually old European type way of carving, so it's going to be entirely different from this type of carving. So I come here and I make my nose. See that? Okay. Now I come up here, let's just go ahead and make a cut right in there, just to kind of, so that, see, just kind of where the eyes might be. Now I'm gonna make a cut on the side of the nose. You take the tip of the knife, with very little pressure, and you come through there and take that off. And the same thing on this side. Take a little. Now I always cut the nose a lot bigger at first, and then what I can do is cut the nose down. I can come from both sides of here, take that off, and take that off, and then I'm just lowering that nose, see, for what I want. Alright, so we've established our nose, and remember that the nose is the center point of the figure. Okay, that's the center point of the figure. Now a lot of people carve differently from me, which is good. They have their way of carving, I have mine. Okay, the next thing is establishing our ears and our hairline. And what I do is I draw a line down here. I actually learned this from a guy named Claude Bolton. And you draw that line up here and down this way, where the ears will be going both sides, and we cut those. Watch, you cut around, you come over the top, be careful, and you come down here. Okay, so you've cut a little line in there, and you take it and work from the inside, and you just take off some of that. You come from the inside. Now over here, what you have to do is take your knife and you just have to kind of run it like this. There you go, just like that. See? Now as we see, the face begins to look like a face. Here, begins to look, I'm cutting into here, see? Now it's starting to really look like a face, okay? Okay. Now, what we want to do is establish our ears. Now, I know a lot of people carve differently than this, but that's the reason I've got this here. So I'm going to come on the side here, and I'm just going to hit. To me, the ears are like a little C on this guy. It's like doing a C of the letter C. Now, this is the tricky part you have to be careful of, because it is small. You want to take your knife and lightly go and follow that ear around there, okay? And do it again. Follow that ear around there. Then you have to come here and you have to remove that wood from that ear so it can stand out. That's from the back of the ear there. You want to remove that wood so that ear can stand out. Okay, let's do it again. Show you. Use the tip of your blade and just follow that. And then go back over it again. And there's your ear. Okay? And let's do it over here. Let's do it on this side. Now, I always make the ear a little bit bigger. See the C? I always make the ear a little bit bigger than normal because then I can cut it down. Make it too small, and I follow that ear around just like that. You want to be careful. And I do it again. I follow that ear all the way around like that. And on this side, I just cut. Be very careful because you're working with miniatures. This is a small. Now you don't have to put ears on him. You can just put his hair down, but I wanted to show you. I'm going to hit it again, go around again and make it bigger as far as that ear stretches out like that, and it will gonna make a cut right there. There we go. I'm gonna come over here and cut this because that backs it up. Now we come into the face a little bit and we just take a little bit more off where that ear stands out. A little bit more off in here. Okay? Now there's several ways, but this is where you have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. Just take that ear and just do this. See this? Just take a little bit of that off. And come about halfway in and come the other way. Come about halfway in as you just barely cut your knife. And there's your ear. And the same thing over here. You want to drag your knife like this, okay? But you be careful and drag it the other way and it will cut. Drag along here, drag it the other way. Drag it, drag it. There you go. Just cutting the pop of the ear there. I'm going to just come in a little bit on that ear. Okay. We'll come a little bit more. Get a little bit more depth. All right. Now, let's come back here and let's get the back of the head where we can work with it. Okay, now we have to decide what we want. I think with this man, what we're going to just do is put a part in his head and his hair. So what we do is we come up here. In fact, let me show you. Just come up there and you just draw your little line there and you cut it, okay? This is the side of his head. You cut it. And then you come from the inside you want to be careful, don't put a lot of pressure because it is a miniature. And look at that, see? All right, now the nose needs to come a little bit. So you see how I'm just sort of barely dragging that knife blade over it? The knife is sharp enough, it'll cut it, okay? Okay, there we go. I'm just swinging that knife just a little bit like that. There we go, look. All right, we need to decide what do we want to do with the mouth. Do we want to let's just go ahead and do our age lines. There's one right there. And then I cut up into here. There you go. Come over here and do the same thing. These are our age lines, what we call them. I'm just kind of cutting these a little bit, get a bit more in here. And I'm just going to cut up into there. You have to be careful because it is a... There we go. And those are what I call the age lines. Signify the age. As we get older, they get harder. Now, why don't we just put a smile on this man's face? So with a pencil, you can draw it. All right, let me take off a little bit more in here. Flatten that up. Now, we'll just do a little smile on his face. I don't know what's wrong with my pencil here. And you just take your knife from here to here and you cut it. Okay? And then you come back from the top and you just remove that wood in there. Sometimes you have to work it a little bit. Because it is a miniature, and because it is small, you just have to work it a little bit. Now, a lot of you with better eyes than me, you'll do fine here. But it depends on what you want it to be. Do you want him to smile? Want him to frown? You want him to whatever. Now, with this basswood, it's kind of hard to see sometimes exactly what he's doing. And then on this chin, I just sort of flipped that just a little bit. Okay, there we go. I'm going to remove a little bit more from these ears back here. Just give it a... Then I'm going to come across here from the ear down, and I'm going to cut it right there. And I'm going to... There you go. There we go. Do it like this. There we go. Now, most of you know that when it comes to the eyes, I don't get rambunctious. I just take the eye and I just come down. It's sort of like I swing my knife down like this, and I cut it right there. I come over here and I swing my knife down like this, and I cut it right there. There we go. And there, watch. And there is your eye.